Hello there, and welcome to Veritas, your source of ideas for self-actualization. My name is Nigel, and I welcome you to episode 3 of the Reflections podcast, where today we're talking about demons. Nope, not the kind of demons that you'd see in your Netflix shows or in the cinema, but the metaphorical kind of demon that resides within your head. Now, let's say you were going through a normal day on the way to work, on your job as, let's say, an engineer or something like that. Then along your way to work, on the street while you're waiting by the traffic light, waiting for the sign to turn green, you hear someone in the far background say, "Jeez man, engineers sure know how to make money, they sure know how to cheat everyone of their money, they do a bad job, man, I wish engineers didn't exist in the world." And all of a sudden, the rest of your day becomes terrible. You see things in a negative light, your work quality suffers because of that, you start doubting yourself, you start questioning yourself, you start asking yourself the purpose of your existence and the nature of your job as an engineer. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? The question goes on and on. But in that moment, right back before that person opens his mouth and says that engineers are goddamn stupid, you were fine. But right after the comment passed, you suddenly start thinking these thoughts. It's almost as if something came up from the depths of your psyche and put a filter over your eyes. And that filter was one of anxiety, doubt, depression, anger. And that, my friends, is what a metaphorical demon looking in your psyche looks like. Modern psychology tends to give names to these demons, such as anxiety, depression, rage, schizophrenia, whatever you call it, man. And no one better than the 13th century psychologist Carl Jung puts it better. And I quote, "The foundation of all mental illness is the unwillingness to experience legitimate suffering," unquote. In this regard, it makes sense, right? Because most, if not almost all of our mental trauma has probably occurred to us in moments where we are vulnerable. You know? In many case studies, they would point towards somebody's childhood as, say, being the source of their anxiety, being the source of depression, being their source of like low self-esteem and stuff like that. And the same goes for relationships and breakups, because in the positions where we were a child or when we were very intimate and close to someone, we put ourselves in positions of vulnerability, and we've had our trust and our hopes and our vulnerability turned against us. We've had ourselves exploited because of our own vulnerability, and this suffering that we go through as a result of this betrayal is ultimately something that is too great for us in our limited capabilities back then to process. And so the subconscious does us a favor. It takes these negative energies, emotions, and it stores them in the depths of our psyche. You know, sure, it works for a bit, but that's like trying to cover a fire with a house made of paper. And in the same way that a fever is merely a symptom to a physical illness or physical imbalance, the mental conditions, the depression, the anxiety, the demons that lurk within you, they are merely symptoms or reflections of a psychic illness within the depths of your unconscious. Now, if we were to follow the idea that Carl Jung prescribes, which is, like I said, and I re-quote again, "The foundation of all mental illness is the unwillingness to experience legitimate suffering," unquote. I mean, think about it for a second. Yes, in a way, and what he means by the cure to your mental illness is by tackling the issue head on, by facing your demons, by walking through the flames of hell. But as with many things of such nature, it is much easier said than done, right? The first step is to cultivate a degree of mindfulness, to be able to be aware of your own reactions and emotions at any given time, to be able to recognize when the demons start popping up from within your psyche and start putting filters all over your perception, when they start influencing or whispering, filling your head with negative emotions that you don't know the hows and whys of what it came for. But the idea is to remain mindful of your thoughts and your perceptions, and to spot these demons when they start showing up. The next step is to step into the emotion, to face the demons. What I mean is, start by asking the question, why? To ask the question why to the suffering, to the negative emotions that you feel and you're enduring right now, is to identify the cause of it, to be able to feel such pain and to be able to see why you're feeling this way. Was it that breakup that caused you to become extremely needy around women? Was it that disapproval from your parents that caused you to feel insecurity in all things that you do? Be able to ask why to yourself, and have your unconscious and have your psyche respond back and give you an answer as to the why, the event that so hurt you, caused you pain and suffering when you were in a vulnerable state. And the next step, now that's the kicker, because the next step is to confront the demon head on, to go past the experience, to go past the meaning and significance you have attached to that experience that popped up from within your head, and to step into the emotion itself. Now, relating to the past few examples, it would mean stepping into the feeling of insecurity around women, or it would be the ability to start feeling the disregard, the contempt, the disapproval that you've had from your parents, to step into these negative emotions and just sit with it, to be able to say, I am here, I am open, I am willing to accept the pain, and to be able to say, yes, I absolutely hated how you guys treated me back then, but I choose now, with my awareness and how I want to remodel myself in my life, to move forward, to say, yeah, I'm good. I forgive you guys for treating me that way, and I forgive myself for reacting this way, because the me that reacted to this pain simply did not know any better. The me that was in the midst of this suffering was vulnerable, and now I am healing. Now I know better. The defeat of a demon is one thing that you can celebrate for yourself, because beating down one of your own demons is as easily as recognizing that these are my flaws. These are the problems and the demons that I have trapped inside my psyche, and I choose to work with them, to accept them and not be controlled by them. I choose to release and exorcise them. I own them. I accept that these things have happened to me, and learning the lessons that they have to teach me. And now I am all the more powerful, and that is what it means to face your demons. Now, I'm gonna do a quick recap, and it is as simple as this. Mindfulness, accepting that you were vulnerable and you didn't know better during that situation, and moving forward with it. Speaking of which, that brings us to the end of the podcast. If you've enjoyed the podcast, you know the drill. There's always the like button, the comment button, and if you really want to support the channel, please subscribe. It keeps me creating more and more content for you guys. Right, my name's Nigel, and I bid you a happy day. And may you do well in all things in life. Peace out.